What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. So unfortunately, just suffering hardcore death. I wanted to get out some more endgame content, but just not able to, having to re-gear, all that good jazz. But it does bring up interesting situations where you come across weapons where you're just not sure what you want to be re-rolling on it to maximize the damage of your weapon. For this, we are going to be taking a look at this Atreyu. Now, I do want to throw out there, we're not really going to be looking into increased attack speed because that is pretty much an entirely different beast on whether you want to go for increased attack speed to hit higher breakpoints. It's going to be very dependent on the class that you are, the build that you're using. We are going to be strictly looking at the raw damage values. Now, for this Atreyu, do we want to be re-rolling the cold damage on there, the increased minimum, increased maximum damage, the cold damage, or the plus 6% damage? Now, the cold damage could go up to 1175 to 1490, so you want to be writing these down. This video is going to be pretty number heavy because we're looking at how to maximize a number. Whenever you want to look to maximize a number, you're going to be having to do a little bit of math, but fortunately for us, there's going to be no math involved because we're going to be able to go over to the interwebs and it's going to do all the math for us. So all the video or all the links will be in the description of this video, so all the websites that we check out, you're going to be able to just go down there, click on it, and bring it up for yourself. So you want to make note of the 1175 to 1490 and the 1171 to 1372, and also the percent weapon damage that you have on your weapon. And then also the last thing is you want to write down what the actual minimum and maximum damage value is, which is right under the big white numbers, which would be the damage per second. You see the 1393 to 2318. That is the minimum and maximum damage that it has. Last thing, you want to know what type of weapon that you have, whether you have a bow, whether you have a dagger, whatever the attacks per second is what you're also going to be needing. So once you have all that, you're going to be able to close out Diablo or just alt-tab it, whatever you want to do for this video. I do have to close it out, or it's just going to keep repeating or recording some Diablo content. So here we are, back with the lights on, over at paragoncalculator.com. Now, you made sure that you wrote down all those numbers, at least I hope you did. If not, you're going to have to go back and write them down for your weapon. So the minimum damage, as I said, you're going to want to make sure you have that. Ours was 1393. The max on there was 2318. And then the increased minimum and increased maximum damage, the cold damage or the fire damage, that whatever type of elemental damage that your weapon has is then going to go here, which ours was 1171 to 1372. And the plus percent damage that we had on it was 6. So we want to calculate to find the basic damage range, which for us is 138 to 807. Now, our new minimum damage number, the max that it could possibly roll, was 1175 to 1490. Since we are going to be re-rolling the cold damage on our bow for this case, we're going to put the plus 6% damage back in there. We had a bow, so this is actually just throwing in how much attacks per second that it has, and then you want to throw in an increased attack speed number. Now, if you're to calculate it right now, it's going to give you NN or NAN, and the reason being is you want to make sure that you throw a number in here. Since we're not increasing our attack speed at all, we throw in 0, we hit the calculate, we come up with 2688.3. But now, what if we want to figure out if we didn't re-roll the cold damage and we re-rolled the plus percent damage? I'm just going to cheat a little bit here. I actually already have it pulled up. And once again, you're going to need to make sure that you throw in that attack speed increase. So we have 1171 to 1372, our unrolled cold damage value. And this time, as I said, we're going to be re-rolling the plus percent damage all the way up to 10. Now, the thing to note is the one on the right here, the one on the right is a lot harder to re-roll a perfect damage range on there. The 1175 to 1490 that you possibly could get is extremely hard to get, and I've actually never seen a perfect damage on a weapon. And I've played a few hundred hours since RoS has come out. Rolling plus percent damage is going to be a lot easier. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's a lot less crafting materials, a lot less gold that you're going to have to be dishing into your weapon unless you just get extremely lucky and get it on one of your first rolls or something significantly near the max. Now we're going to calculate this out. Luckily for me though, the bow, I'm going to be re-rolling the +% weapon damage on there, so it's going to be a lot easier, as I said, and it's going to go up to 2713.7, giving me around 25.5 more damage per second on my Atreyu. So the easy roll is going to be the way to go. That's all you're going to have to do. Just make sure you write down a couple numbers, insert them into, you know, this right here, and you're going to be all set. Now there's one last thing that I do want to look at. We're just going to expand this, and the last thing is going to be, now this is before the Ramalandi's gift, but it's still a great example of what I want to talk about, and that is going to be, this guy found this Slanderer here, and he wants to know if he should roll the +% damage on there, or if he should be, or not +%, but the increased minimum and maximum damage on this weapon, or should he be re-rolling the resource cost reduction off of this into +% damage. Now to figure that out, as I said, there's going to be some math. Here is the actual formula. If you want to figure all this out for yourself, do it on a calculator, do it on a piece of paper, whatever you prefer. Use the website. All the information is going to be here. So this is the formula for DPS on a weapon. Now, if you upgrade your +% damage stat to 1290 to 1490, you will have an increase of 1143 of both minimum and maximum damage. So you're going to be ending up with 2338.0. But on the other hand, if you were to then re-roll off the 9% resource cost reduction to the +10% damage, you're going to be getting 2351.6. So you're getting more damage per second with re-rolling off the resource cost into +10% damage. But the sacrifice is then you're taking off the 9% resource cost reduction, and the 13.6 DPS difference is not going to matter. You're going to be better off keeping on the resource cost reduction, or at least in most cases, pretty much all cases, the resource cost reduction, sacrificing 13.6 damage for 9% resource cost, is going to be then giving you actually more damage per second, even though it's not showing up in your tooltip. Being able to spam your skills or your spells more is going to then provide you with more damage. So that's it. You know, there's not a whole lot to figuring out your weapon damage. There's the nice little tooltip that we went over here at paragoncalculator.com, and I was checking out some Western March workshop. I found that Atreyu, and I was like, well, it's time to do a video. I ended up dying in hardcore recently, unfortunately. So that Atreyu that you saw is the best one that I have. So I had to figure this out, so I just went ahead and did a video about it. So that is going to be it for me. I am ChromeOnRust for CoreXpert Gaming. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Hope to have some more videos out for you soon. I'm out of here, and you all have a great day.